Welcome to the world of Marissa Marchan channel. A weekly serialized story full of heartfelt moments and relatable characters that will capture audiences' attention. Coming to America, The Journey, Part 9. A very emotional episode. A year had passed since Junior and I met and became a couple. There were moments of fun, excitement, and highs and lows. We had our share of misunderstandings and jealousy, but we always found our way back to each other. As Mom got older, she became more strict, but Junior and I avoided trouble. Tessie and Edith were the only family members who knew we had been dating for a year. My dad and I talked on our front porch steps before Christmas. He said he planned to retire early and return to the Philippines with Mom and our younger sister, Lonnie. My father saw my potential and asked me to promise him I would make something for myself. This was so I could support them in their old age. I promised my dad I would. He had high expectations of me. I knew this since I was 12 years old. Despite my young age, my dad trusted me and always asked me to accompany him to his doctor's appointments or any other places that required my help or opinion. He knew I could handle anything beyond my years, and his faith in me was unwavering. I couldn't stop thinking about my conversation with my dad that night. I remember telling him when I was a small child that I would care for them when I grew up. I started feeling guilty and wanted to make it up to him. In a few months, I would graduate from high school and be off to college. My dad was my motivational force. I was determined to fulfill my promise. My relationship with Junior was unexpected. We had a wonderful and exciting time, but I had to grow up and care for my family. It was time to get serious about my education and make my father proud. On Christmas Day, 1978, Junior and I met at my friend's house at noon. The two of us attended his friend's birthday party in Honolulu. I tried to find the right moment to break up with him. However, Junior spent most of his time with his friends, so we had no time alone. Breaking up was difficult, so I planned to do it once I got home to avoid seeing his reaction. Junior drove me home, and when we arrived in Waipahu, it was 6 p.m. and dark. I panicked. It was the first time I came home late. Junior looked for a payphone and called his sister, Loretta, in Ava Beach to collaborate with us. But she did not answer. Having no other choice, Junior dropped me home, and we found Tessie waiting on the curb, frantic. Tessie informed me that Mom had become upset about my late arrival. Scared and nervous, I walked inside the house and didn't notice Junior trailing behind me. Likely, he didn't consider the repercussions of his actions. He was concerned about what my family would do to me and wanted to protect me. Seeing us together, my mom was out of control. She ranted and raged at me while Junior sat there, looking scared and confused. It was the first time my family heard about Junior. Everyone thought we had eloped. Was it considered eloping when I left the house at noon and returned at 6 p.m. on the same day? I was too young to comprehend the reality of what was unfolding before me. Besides Tessie and Edith, who already knew Junior, no one asked about his details, like his name, age, occupation, address, parents, or marital status. Mom was irrational and angry. She yelled at me and accused me of something I didn't do. No ifs, no buts. No rhymes or reasons. Mom insisted we marry, and that was that. What in the world? No one said anything. Our mother's decision was never challenged. As for me, I questioned whether I could express my true self without fear of retribution. Dad was at work, and I had no one by my side. I saw Junior sitting there, but he remained silent and did not argue with them. In my mind, this was not the time for politeness. It would have been better if he had said something, fought with them, or done anything else. I knew I shouldn't blame him. He felt just as confused as I did. As the tension in the room escalated, it felt like a scene straight out of a dramatic telenovela. My mother continued to rant, her voice echoing off the walls, while my heart raced with uncertainty. Just when it seemed like things couldn't get any worse, the door swung open, and in walked my brother Ben, his expression unreadable yet commanding attention. For a moment, hope flickered in my heart. Maybe Ben could bring some sense into this chaos and help calm our mother down. I looked at him, silently pleading for support, praying he would speak up and defuse the situation. I was wrong. Before I knew it, plans for a rushed wedding were underway, leaving me no time to process the whirlwind of events. Mom instructed us to stay at Ben's and return at midnight. Junior and I drove to Ben's house like zombies. We barely spoke on the drive. I felt overwhelmed with emotions, and I wasn't sure what to say or do. When we arrived, Ben opened the door for us. He said nothing. I sat in the living room while Junior sat on the patio smoking a cigarette and looking up at the ceiling. I had no idea what he was thinking. Every minute felt like an eternity as I sat there, the silence in the room amplifying the chaos in my mind. My thoughts raced, wondering how my life had spiraled into this surreal situation. I hoped that somehow everything would resolve itself when Dad returned home or woke up from this nightmarish dream. I could see sorrow and disappointment in my father's eyes as I stood in front of him. As he sat down with a heavy sigh, the weight of the situation settled on everyone. He looked at me with regret and resignation, torn between family loyalty and silent disapproval. I couldn't bear to meet his gaze, knowing I had let him down. His eyes held a mixture of sadness and unspoken questions, and I felt guilt wash over me. Dad's decision to let Mom decide my future devastated me. He should have defended and protected me. I wish someone had stood up for me, arguing that forcing me into a marriage when I hadn't even graduated from high school was unreasonable. Did Mom really have that much control over us? My world crumbled around me. I was smart, had a big idea in my head, and was ready to explore the world and make a difference as soon as I graduated. But all of that seemed to slip away as I found myself trapped in a situation I didn't understand. I hoped someone would listen and help me find a way out of this unexpected path. Unfortunately, the old Filipino tradition of respecting parental authority and decisions loomed over us, making it difficult to voice our own desires. Christmas Day 1977 was a memorable time when Junior and I became an instant couple. Christmas Day 1978 was equally memorable, as my future remained uncertain. I reflected on the past year, wondering how my life had changed so dramatically in such a short time. The events I experienced felt rushed, and they seemed like dreams. One moment I was deciding how to end things gently with Junior, and the next I was preparing to marry. It felt surreal, as if forces beyond my control had swept me away. I wondered how things spiraled from planning a breakup to getting a marriage license. Christmas also marked the end of living at home. Ben took me in while Junior returned home. In the following days, I had a tough time. No one called to check on me or ask how I was doing, and the silence was deafening. I felt abandoned, left to navigate this challenging chapter on my own. The only person who did not abandon me during all my troubles was Junior. I never expected him to return knowing he was free to leave the arrangement. I saw a different side of him, one that made me wonder if this unexpected path held its own possibilities. His presence provided stability amid the chaos, and I found solace in his companionship. Junior visited me every day. As we talked, I realized Junior was just as uncertain and scared as I was. Yet he was open to navigating this journey together. He was only 22 and just a kid like me, but he seemed determined to follow through with my parents' plan. I saw a glimmer of hope for a future we could shape, not one that others dictated. I was relieved when my dad visited me one day. He sat down across from me, his expression softening as he observed my surroundings. "I've been worried about you," he confessed. His voice was tinged with concern. "I know things have been difficult, but I want you to know they'll get better." Soon after, my sisters called me and we chatted for a while. They gave me the strength to carry on. I felt a weight lifting off my shoulders, and I knew I was loved and supported. Mom was initially distant and hesitant. However, over time, she reached out, slowly bridging the gap between us. Junior and I applied for our marriage license after the holiday break and completed the premarital physical exam required during that time. On February 2, 1979, our wedding was scheduled at City Hall, and the uncertainty of what lay ahead weighed heavily on my mind. While the path seemed set, the reality of becoming a wife at such a young age was daunting. There would be no more late-night chats and whispers with my sisters. The days of wandering around Pullridge Shopping Center with my family were over. Dinner time and enjoying Mom's delicious meal ended. My participation in all the fun and games we played at home was impossible. My life drastically changed in an instant. Tune in next week to see how this exciting story continues from Marissa Marchan channel. Please check out my channel trailer video to learn more about the exciting content you can expect from my channel. Your support means the world to me. I write young adult, new adult, and middle grade fiction. For more information about my work, visit marissamarchanchannel.com. Don't forget to watch my other videos. Thank you.